Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Old Bridge Township October 26, 2021 council meeting. Please rise for a pledge of allegiance. Please remain standing for a moment of silence and for our prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As customary in this chamber, we stand for a moment of silence to remember those who are protecting our freedoms, both here and abroad, for our first responders, and for those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. A moment of silence, please. Mr. Pasquini, our prayer, please.
O Lord, bless thy servants in the ministry of public affairs who serve thee in this chamber. Give us quiet minds and hearts that we may hear thy voice. Help us to know when to speak, when to be silent. Give us strength to oppose the wrong and uphold the right. And grant that we have a good conscience and soul at peace with thee and one another. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Please be seated.
This meeting is being held in conformance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice has been given to the newspaper, and notice of the meeting has been posted in public places. Next open public meeting of the council will be held November 9th, 2021 at 7:30 p.m. Ms. Brown is absent. Mr. De Palma?
Here.
Dr. Greenberg-Belli? Here. Mr. Merwin? Absent. Mr. Murphy?
Here.
Mr. Peschitti?
Here.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Here.
Ms. Walker?
Here.
President Sohor?
Here.
We have 7 present.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the new council chambers. We're really very happy to be back again in public session, and I wish everyone a good evening. Tonight we'll start with presentations. We have the governing body certification of the annual audit. Okay, good evening, gentlemen and ladies. If everyone could just introduce themselves for the audience and the people out there.
Thank you, Council President. We have our auditor, Bob Allison, here. He'll briefly go over the audit requirement and along with our Finance Director, Acting Finance Director, Don Swoboda. Mayor, I don't know if you want to, okay.
Started?
Bob? Yeah.
Good evening. Welcome, Bob. Thank you for coming.
Good evening. My name is Bob Allison. I'm the president of the firm of Holman Frenny Allison, your auditing firm. Pleasure to be here tonight. We completed our audit at the end of September. The due date of the audit was September 30th. These audits for the past few years have been delayed because of information that the state is late in getting to us with regard to pension information and other post-employment benefits. But nothing we can do about that, but it was filed on time as far as the state's concerned. As I've said in the past, the report has 2 different opinions on it. One opinion is an adverse opinion because the rest of the country who looks at a New Jersey financial statement is not familiar with it because we have a different set of accounting principles. So we have to have an adverse opinion on that, on GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles, since the state of New Jersey does not follow that. However, you have an unmodified or an unqualified or the best opinion that you can get with regard to New Jersey accounting principles, and that is, again, the best opinion that you can get so that your financial statements are in good order and free of material misstatements. That is on page 1 to 3 of your bound report if you want to follow along or make note for later. The other report that we have is over internal controls and compliance. This is not a report we render an opinion on. It's not our charge to render an opinion on your controls or your compliance with state and federal laws. However, we do need to review them, and if we come across anything which is awry, we will report it to you. And again, we had no comments or recommendations with regard to your controls or your compliance with state and federal laws. Getting to the numbers, in 2020, and as we all know, it was a COVID year, and you, like many others, suffered a little bit with that. Our fund balance, although still strong, was reduced from about $10 million to about $9 million. So we lost about $1 million in fund balance, reducing our ratio to our budget from 17 to 16%. As you probably have heard me say in prior years, the rating agencies, Standard & Poor's and Moody's, they like to see that number be at least around 15%, and you're still above that. However, you're not trending well, but obviously there is a very outstanding, unusual reason for that, and that was COVID, and you and many other municipalities have suffered the same thing. So I would still reiterate that, you know, that we maintain that level. We don't dip much more than where we are now. Hopefully bring it back up again to around the 17, 18%, which gives us a little room for times that we have to take a hit, like we just took a hit. The other finances are pretty strong. Your tax collection rate is still around 99%. It went from 99.3 to 99.1. That's not significant. So that's strong. Our use of surplus, even though we had $1 million less in surplus going into 21, we still used $7 million to balance the 2021 budget. So I would say overall, except for, you know, if we want to call COVID a hiccup, that you are steady, and that's where you want to be. You really don't want big ups and downs, and you've been that way for a lot of years, and you've been, you know, slowly building that surplus to get it to a level that the rating agencies like, and that will make you comfortable. And again, aside from COVID, you've done very well. So I'll take any questions you might have.
To open it up to the council, does anyone have a question or a comment for Mr. Allison? Anyone on my right? Dr. Greenberg?
Yes, I just want to reiterate, obviously, COVID happened, and it does have a negative impact, obviously, when you're not collecting certain revenues. But you feel, in spite of COVID, due to our fiscal preparation before that and our fiscal conservative attitude with the town, we're still in strong holding.
Yeah, I think you're very strong, and I'll let you know that I have other clients in the municipalities who have had to actually bond for loss of revenue, and the state allows them to do that because they understand COVID, like Hurricane Sandy, is a big devastation to a town, and if you're very lean and you can't take a hit, then you may have to go into debt in order to keep yourself solvent, and obviously debt carries with it interest, which is a cost. You have insulated yourself that you don't have to do that because you're strong enough to take a hit. And that's exactly where you want to be.
And also, not only with COVID last year, the weather was quite an impact on our budget, too. And it's very good and clear to know, in spite of all that, we're in good fiscal standings. And
You should be very proud of where you are.
yeah, thank you.
Anyone on my left for a comment or a question for Mr. Allison? No? Okay. Well, then I'd like to also say thank you, and I'd like to have the mayor, if he'd like to comment. You good?
Briefly. No, I think it's important that, as Mr. Allison said, we've prepared for, I'm not going to use the rainy day pun today, but we've prepared in the past to get the township up to where it needs to be financially in order to take a hit. We never predicted COVID, that's for sure. And no one can ever predict something like that. But the town should always be in a position where it doesn't have to borrow money to pay for the loss of revenue. So we've been very conservative in the past, we're conservative now, and we will be conservative in the future, moving forward. And we are committed to rebuilding that surplus up to the numbers where it was pre-COVID. And I don't think the rating agencies will hold that against us, Bob, that we had to take $1 million out of it and use it to make up lost revenue as opposed to trying to find it somewhere else in the way of taxes.
Yes, I agree. I'd like to say thank you to the team, the finance team, the mayor, the administration, Dawn, everyone who has participated in making this happen. We have now become a town that we are proactive. We are no longer struggling the moment there is a hiccup. I mean, things will come our way and we'll have to deal with them. But I think the preparation and the wisdom of how we prepare has really seen us through these hard times. There is a completely different attitude and mindset here in this administration, and I really think it has shown that we really do the right thing. I'd like to thank you, Mr. Allison. During this whole COVID time, you were very helpful. You gave us a lot of guidance and, information on how to do the best we could with our finances as well.
Yeah, I'd like to add one more thing because, as I'm thinking about it, because you're the only town that did this. And I'll have to compliment Mr. Hamo, as much as it pains me to do that. But
It's a common theme.
but last summer, how much you had the presence of mind to say, I think we need to start having monthly finance meetings. Because you
great.
saw what was coming. Again, you can see the wave coming in. You can't stop the wave, but at least you can make some plans for it. I didn't have any other clients who did something like that. And you summoned me, and we had monthly meetings, and we saw what was coming down the pike, and where the revenues would be, and we did an analysis to say, what, we think we're going to be $1 million short, but we're going to be okay into 21 because of all the preparations we had. So it wasn't some surprise that, when you did your year-end report in February and you say, oh, look at this, we had $1 million, that you knew that back in September. And that's proper planning and proper forecasting, and I compliment you for that.
We didn't kick the can down the highway. We knew we had to do something, and there was the wisdom there to do it, make those hard decisions that aren't easy. But you have to be ahead of the curve. And with you at helping us, and Manchu setting up those, finance meetings, Dr. Greenberg, Mrs. Walker, we were there trying to really get ahead of this as best we could. And I think, given the circumstances, the whole team did a really good job. So thank you so much.
Council President, I think that I want to take this opportunity to thank all my department heads.
Yes, as I said, the team,
And all the staff. I think that COVID was a difficult time.
everybody.
And everybody had worked together to get through that year. We knew where we're going to be in a financial position and what we need to do to get 21 budget set up. And they were all, everybody participated in, and that's why we are in such a good position. And obviously, council gets a credit for supporting what we do.
It was a team effort,
As a
everybody.
collectively, we have, this is joint efforts.
It sure
Without
was.
that, it would be impossible. So, thank you.
Absolutely not. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Allison. Does anyone else have any comments or questions for the gentleman? Okay, Tony Pischetti?
Yeah, I too want to thank you very much for your team, your whole team, Mayor. Good job. So because of the COVID, we basically lost $1 million last year. Is that right? It probably would have been a lot worse if we weren't ahead of the curve, right? I mean,
Well, we had a good financial, strong position that allowed us to sustain that difficulty and yet continue operation without cutting any services. That's all the planning, maintaining that position helped us through that.
that's great. Good job. Thank you very much.
Walker?
Yes, I just want to say great job to the whole staff. Having us in such a good financial situation is what kept us going and not having to borrow the money like other towns. And having those meetings, it was really a good thing because we were well informed on what was happening. And I want to thank everybody for thinking of that.
I shouldn't forget Dawn. And the staff in finance. I know they worked tirelessly throughout this time to
was
maintain
difficult
the
for
record.
everybody.
Yeah.
Else on my left? Anyone on my left for a comment? No? Okay, well, then, very much. We appreciate all the time that you spent here with us. Thank you.
Council, we're going to continue the presentation. Dawn is going to take over the best practice inventory.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening. Should we take the vote on the audit first?
It's on the agenda. Consent.
Yes. Presentation. Yeah, yeah, okay. All right, so I'd like to ask for a motion for a resolution.
Move it.
Second?
Second.
Okay, moved by Mrs. Walker, second by Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin is absent. Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohor?
Yes,
You have 8 ayes.
thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Moving on to the best practices inventory. I believe it started about 5 or 6 years ago, the state requiring us to do this annual best practice checklist, discuss it at a meeting, and submit to them. Every year, the questions, they change a little. Some years are a little bit more difficult, some, a little easier. This year, there were 27 scored questions with a possibility of 23 points. You need at least 15 in order to receive your full, the final municipal aid payment in December. We scored 21.5. There were only 2 questions that we have no answers for. Both of them actually pertain to the fire districts. Number 22, which is regarding compensation to the Board of Fire Commissioners and whether or not the municipal body is involved in approving that compensation. And then number 26 is regarding conducting a feasibility of consolidating its multiple districts, fire districts, into one single district, which I believe we kind of take the position that they're their own governing.
Yeah, I have always advocated that we, as a township, we have enough to deal with our own issues, that we don't get involved with other agencies or other taxing districts in the town. Fire district is one of those taxing districts. I think we have a wonderful fire department, so we are not going to get involved in that. We don't get involved in affairs of Board of Education, library, Old Bridge MUA, and I think that, it speaks well. We don't want them to get involved in our operation, and we don't want to get involved. So while state feels that this is a best practice approach, I think we have scored 21 out of 23. That speaks for itself. And it's, in reality, to me, we have scored 21 out of 21. So.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions on my right or comments for Dawn?
No, I want to compliment you and thank you again for presenting us with this and recognizing the fact that we have best practices in Old Bridge. Thank you.
Anyone? Ms. Walker?
Great job. And the fire district questions, we shouldn't be penalized because we can't answer them.
Okay. Anyone on my left for a question or a comment? Okay, seeing no hands, thank you again. I think this it shows once again rhetoric versus reality and results, and this is definitely positive results. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. We need a resolution. Okay, and we need a resolution now for acknowledging discussion best practices and accepting it. Okay,
Second.
moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mrs. Walker.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin is absent. Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohor?
Yes.
We have 8 ayes.
Next will be proclamation recognizing Jim Raffone and Jar of Hope for raising awareness of Duchenne, MD. Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, public, council. Thank you. We have a special guest in our audience tonight. I would like to ask, please join me at the podium. Council, tonight I'd like to recognize the efforts of Mr. Jim Raffone and also his Jar of Hope team. Everyone is familiar, I hope, with his organization here in town. He does so many fundraising events and so many good Just so many good things to raise money for the hard work and the dedication and bringing awareness for the Duchenne muscular dystrophy and for the organizing of such multiple events and how he has been trying to find a cure for this horrific illness. I know it hits home, Jim. We know that. But I can honestly say that Jim is probably one of the most dedicated individuals I've ever met. He is motivating. He's an inspiration. As far as motivating, I think he motivated me to do 20 push-ups one day. In the middle of a gym with 1,000 high school kids looking at me. So, that's motivation. So, but we pray and we hope that through your efforts, Jim, that we do find a cure for this and make life a little easier for you and for the other families that are suffering with this. So I would be honored if you would say a few words about your organization and what you have upcoming, so maybe people could jump on board, as we say. So let me present this to you in honor of your Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council President, and all of the council members, as well as those in attendance here and the Old Bridge residents who are watching at home. I'd be remiss not to accept this, as well as on behalf of Mr. Joe Ippolito, Martin Cintron, and William, a friend of mine who lives up in Massachusetts. The reason for this certificate is, for those who don't know, myself and 3 other gentlemen walked 300 miles in July, in the midst of the summer heat, from Massachusetts, a hospital where my son goes to Millstone, New Jersey. It took us 7 days to walk 300 miles, and the reason we did that is because my son, unfortunately, is terminally ill. He suffers from Duchenne muscular dystrophy, which is a disease that has been around for 200 years. And the reason we did that walk from Massachusetts is because that's the hospital in which I need to take him to only every 6 months. And the reason for that is they track the digression of the disease, how fast these children fall apart. And unfortunately, statistically, by age 15, they become quadriplegics. So I would like to thank the mayor again and the council for presenting me with this honor for what I do for the community. But the real heroes who deserve this are the children who wake up every day where the doctors tell them that there's nothing that can be done for them. And they're the heroes that go to school every day and they face what they're fighting every day with a smile on their face. And it really, they are the inspiration that makes me do what I do for them. And I also need to make mention that up and down the Route 9 corridor, myself, I live in Manalapan. There's a family who, they have a very large footprint here in the Old Bridge community, and they have an auto dealership right here on Route 9. They have a child who suffers from the same fate, as well as in Perth Amboy. And as Mr. Mayor pointed out, in the upcoming months, I'm trying to raise money for a family that Martin Cintron, his son is 16, he's a quadriplegic, and they are in need of a wheelchair-accessible van that I will be trying to raise money for them. For those who would like to assist me in my efforts, you can go to jarofhope.org, make any sort of donation possible to help me get them this wheelchair-accessible van that they so desperately need. And they live in Perth Amboy. So there are 3 families right here in the community who have children that the community, the medical community tells us there's nothing that can be done for our children, just to go home and love them. And that's an awful, awful thing to hear as a parent of a child at any age. So, Mr. Mayor, council members, thank you very much for this honor and this privilege to stand here before you and share the story of these children and Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. It really was a very moving story. Thank you so much. Next will be approval of minutes of previous meetings, combined council meeting minutes of March 23rd, 2021. Do I have a motion?
Move it. Second.
Okay, moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Councilman Murphy.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg Belli? Yes. Mr. Merwin is absent. Mr. Murphy? Mr. Pescitti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohor?
Yes.
That's 8 ayes.
Next is combined council meeting minutes of May 11th, 2021. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mr. Murphy.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin is absent. Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescitti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohor?
Yes.
We have 8 ayes.
Next will be our bill list. Mrs. Walker?
Accounts payable, $18,300,830.05.
Do I have a motion? Oh, I'm sorry, that's right. I forgot we changed the format.
October 15, 2021 payroll, $962,817.79. October 15, 2021 payroll overtime, $50,308.93, for a total of $19,313,956.77.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Okay, moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mr. De Palma. And Mr. Shaw, can we have a breakdown of the overtime, please?
Thank you, Council Presidents. As Councilwoman Walker indicated, the total overtime for this pay period was $50,308.93. There's not really any uptick in any other department. There was slight overtime for the Old Bridge Day is included in this payroll. For the police department, sworn police officer overtime was $35,989.13. Deduct grants, $11,310.48. Deduct ETO, $4,659.97. And deduct accreditation-related overtime, $802.87. The net overtime was $19,215.81, representing 440.50 men and women hours. There was no pandemic-related cost associated with this payroll. There were 2 officers quarantined during this pay period. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shaw.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin is absent. Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Oh, yes, sorry. Mr. Pescitti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohor?
Yes.
We have 8 ayes.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Next will be public hearing ordinances for second reading. H1, an ordinance amending 235-16 of the Township Code entitled Certificate of Approval Required Prior to Transfer Fee. I'd like to ask if the council has any comments or questions. Seeing no hands, I will now open it up to the public. Anyone here in the public wish to be heard on this? Seeing no hands, then I will close the public portion. Yes, motion to adopt, please.
Move it.
Second.
Okay, moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by, I'm sorry, Mrs. Walker, second by Mr. Pescetti. Yes, I heard you.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin is absent. Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescitti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohor?
Yes.
We have 8 ayes.
Next will be H2, an ordinance of the Township of Old Bridge extinguishing certain easements in regard to Block 5001, Lot 13.24, 2G Manzo LLC. Does anyone from the council have a question or a comment? I'd like to open it now to the public. Anyone here in the public wish to speak on this ordinance? No, seeing no hands, I will close the public and I will ask for a motion.
Move it. Second.
Moved by Mr. Rizzoli, second by Mr. Pescetti.
Brown?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin is absent. Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohor? We have 8 ayes. You're muted.
Sorry, next is our consent agenda item. I'd like to take a motion and a second and then open it up to the council for separations.
Second.
Okay, moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Councilman De Palma, and now we'd like to go for separations, please.
Ms. Brown, do you have any separations?
None at this time, thank you.
Mr. De Palma?
C8 and C11.
Dr. Greenberg Belli?
None at this time, thank you.
Mr. Merwin is absent. Mr. Murphy?
No, thank you.
Mr. Piscitty?
No separations, thank you.
Mr. Rizzoli?
None, thank you.
Ms. Walker?
No, thank you.
President Sohor?
No, thank you. Okay, I'll tell her.
Let me check with Mary.
Okay, just give us 1 second. We're having a little technical difficulty with the volume at home. Okay.
People at home can't hear.
Okay, you want us to, okay.
Conversation.
That's not hard for us up here to keep talking. That's for sure.
Oh, you're going back to the office, so we'll keep talking?
Okay,
Okay.
all right. For those out in the listening audience at home, we seem to be having a little bit of a volume issue with the broadcast, so we wanted to go and see if we could increase the volume so that the people at home could hear the council meeting clearly. So we have to continue this little conversation.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's from the council or if they were having trouble hearing the people that were speaking down there.
Right, I
Keep
don't know.
talking.
Okay, just everybody keep,
Anyone else have anything to say?
Yeah, Channel 15's always loud.
Oh, this
I
is,
don't know if
well,
you-
FiOS is 22. Is that,
Oh, 22. Well, I
Yeah.
don't know about files, but when I surf the channels and you hit 15, it's like double the volume.
wow.
It's loud.
Mm.
So it's peculiar that this one's not.
well, that's something we could look into, see if it's the FiOS people or the cable people that are having trouble.
It's the lawyer's fault.
Hmm? What?
It's the lawyer's fault, Mark's fault.
It's Mark's fault. All right, I guess she wants us to keep
Yeah,
talking.
keep talking.
Yeah. Right?
To keep on talking into our mics.
Yeah,
Don't
into our
forget,
mics.
November
Hi,
2nd is
Mary.
Election Day.
Yeah.
Come out and vote. Please don't forget, November 2nd.
Do testing 1, 2, 3.
On your sample ballot tells you where you can go to vote.
You want to text Mary, see if she needs us to speak?
Did she say?
Okay. Maybe we should,
She's asking me to keep talking.
Keep
Okay, we
talking.
keep
So if we
talking.
could keep talking and.
okay. Mary, see if it's FiOS or cable-related problem.
We're just testing the volume currently in our center to see if we can get an increase of volume.
Okay, we keep trying.
All right.
Did they say whether it was cable or FiOS?
I don't know, I think that's what she's looking into.
We don't have control over whether or not we have cable or FiOS here. It's more of an output that I think she's checking on to see if we can increase our output to both. We're just broadcasting it. So Cablevision and FiOS would be responsible for what they're taking in and putting out. So I don't know that we would have control over that.
Control.
Change.
Okay, someone else have something to say?
Come on, Debbie, you always have something to say.
Consultant.
Kids have a nice Halloween.
Hmm?
Hope all the kids have a nice Halloween.
You have to talk into your mic to see if it works.
No, I'm loud enough.
But anybody from down there want to come up, have anything to say? Normally, I'm not speechless, so this is quite shocking.
I don't know.
Keep talking. Mary has asked us to keep talking because she can't test it if we
Okay,
don't.
we're trying, Mary, we're trying. We told the public that, there's a problem with the volume, with the sound, and that we're trying to address it so the people at home can hear.
Council President, if I may, while we're waiting.
Yes, absolutely.
Show to go on. I just want to take this time and advise council that our HR manager, Avril Lamar, just decided to move on from her position, and, I guess she has a better plans for herself.
Good way to say with words tonight.
I thought we were the best place to work for, but I guess maybe I was wrong.
She had enough of you.
But we're fortunate that in a very short period, we are able to now in position to say Avril who. We have Sherry Samsudin here, who is now going to be taking her place. Avril is working very hard to train her. And I want to thank, with all kidding aside, I want to thank Avril for bringing professionalism and bringing the HR, into the where we are today, and her hard work that's dramatically improved the HR operation. So I want to thank her publicly for her efforts.
Miss you, Avril.
I heard that the volume on Fios is picking up a little, so I guess we have to keep talking. Avril, we're really going to miss you so much, but it was nice that we had an opportunity to meet you. And yes, you were wonderful.
I got these hearing aids. I just got them the other day.
You have your mic on.
So loud.
Your mic is on. We need the mic on. Your mic's on, mic on. We need that on.
Move it closer.
Yeah, talk into it.
Oh, I've been talking a lot lower too since I've got these, but I can hear everything. I can hear myself louder than everything. So I just want to let you know I can hear again.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, we're not used to you being so
Everybody out there
quiet.
wants to hear again, I'll give you my doctor's name. This way you don't have to worry about the TV.
Right.
Okay, thank you very much.
I think that the problem seems to be people are not speaking into their microphones.
Yeah, that would help, definitely.
Avril, I hope that you enjoyed working here as much as we enjoyed having you, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors, and we're going to stay in contact, I hope.
Maybe Avril wants to come up and say, we'll see if those microphones are working. It was on green. Good.
All right, she's back. You don't have red. No, Jamaica.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, so I just want to say, this is a bittersweet for me because being here the last 5 years have been really exciting. It's been really great getting to know everyone, being able to pursue new things, being able to take things to another level, having the support of the administration and the council. It's been a great 5 years for me. Old Bridge is truly, truly a great place. So it's, gets me a little emotional. I've been in denial for a few weeks now. My office is not backed up or anything. So I said, I really, it's been very difficult to take these next steps after being in a place that feels like home. So I thank you all so much for all the support that you've given me, Mayor Himanshu, and each and every one of you on the council. I truly, truly appreciate working with you all, and I definitely look forward to keeping in touch as well. Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Really been missed.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Avril. I believe we're ready to start to resume the meeting. Hopefully, the volume out there and the listening is a little bit better. So we have the consent agenda that we're discussing at this point. Okay, great.
So we have C8 and C11 removed,
Right,
and I had a motion by Dr. Greenberg-Belli and Mr. De Palma.
right.
So now I'm going to do a roll call for the consent agenda.
Yep.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg-Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin? The consent agenda with the absence of C8 and C11. Thank you. Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohor?
Yes.
We have 9 ayes.
Okay, next will be C8, Mr. De Palma.
Yes, I just wanted to separate it to just bring to the public's attention the municipal alliance that's through the township and the important work that they do on, trying to combat alcoholism and drug abuse. These are major issues throughout our society, and it's something that I think everyone somewhere is affected. Someone who has these issues. And I just think it's important that the folks in our community understand that we are looking to help, that we are partnering with the county. We do have someone specifically set up to run these events and to help things out. I just want to make sure that we highlight these things to ensure that our township knows that if there are folks that need help, that there is help out there, and we are looking to actively combat this.
Anyone else have a comment? I'll just add that Karen Tortorisi retired, and she had been our municipal alliance person for many years, and she did a very wonderful job, and we will miss her, but we do have someone new, Rosemary Rivoli, who is as anxious and excited to be part of it, and I think she's going to do a great job for us. And you're absolutely right, Mr. De Palma, it's important for people to know in the community that we do have resources for them if they're struggling. Thank you.
I'll move it.
Motion by Mr. De Palma, second by Dr. Greenberg-Belli.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg-Belli? Yes. Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohor?
Yes.
We have 9 ayes.
Next will be C11, Councilman De Palma.
Yeah, again, this is just to highlight some of the programs that are out there specifically for disabled vets and the cancellation and refund of their real estate taxes. So folks that are out there understand that there are these programs specifically for veterans. Just wanted to make sure that folks understand that. I think folks watch this and we separate things that are more township-wide that affects a lot of people. This can just affect the individual. So the folks that are out there that potentially are 100% disabled and you're a veteran, there are these programs out there that can help you with your property taxes. That's all I have.
Okay, do you want to make a motion?
Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. De Palma, second by Dr. Greenberg-Belli.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg-Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohor?
Yes.
We have 9 ayes.
Next will be ordinances for first reading, and for one, ordinance amending the code of the Township of Old Bridge, specifically Article 3, various goods and services, Section 160. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
I'm sorry? Oh, I'm sorry, okay, 160, and there's no dash here, dash 11, okay. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Okay, moved by Dr. Greenberg-Belli, second by Mr. Rizzoli.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg-Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
For first reading, yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohor?
Yes.
We have 9 ayes.
Next will be FR2, ordinance accepting rulings within the commons at Old Bridge, aka Eford Estates Development.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Pescini, second by Mr. De Palma.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg-Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohor?
Yes.
We have 9 ayes.
Thank you. Next will be report of the Township Clerk.
I do have a report tonight. The same one.
Yep.
Please be advised that the general election is November 2nd, 2021, and polls will open at 6 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. that day. We do have early voting available this year. There are 10 locations in Middlesex County. One of those locations is located in Old Bridge Township at Veterans Park Community Building at 1254 Englishtown Road. Voters would be able to cast their ballots on the machines early from October 23rd to October 31st. The hours for early voting are Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and on Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you'd like more information, you can contact the Township Clerk's office or visit oldbridge.com/elections. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to accept her report?
Move it.
Second?
Okay, moved by Dr. Greenberg-Bello, second by Mr. Pescity.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg-Bello?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescity?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sobor?
Yes.
We have 9 ayes.
Township Attorney, do you want to report? Okay, and administrative report, Mr. Shah.
Thank you, Council President. Administrative report for October 26, 2021. Item number 1, Code Drive. The Old Bridge Food Bank and Department of Public Works will be hosting its first ever Code Drive. The Warmth Code Drive will be held on Saturday, November 6th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Recycling Center. Join us in helping residents in need stay warm this winter by donating new or gently used coats, hats, scarves, and gloves. This will be a drive-through drop-off, so all you need to do is drive up and we'll take care of the rest. We thank you in advance for your support. And number 2, Fall Paper Shred event. There will be a Township Paper Shred event on Friday, October 29th in 3 various locations. Please visit oldbridge.com/recycling for the times and details. Item number 3, Fall Pickup Schedule. Fall pickup begins on October 25th. Leaves will be picked up by ward from now through the end of December. Please visit oldbridge.com/recycling for schedule. Item number 4, Marina Park Phase 2 improvements. Old Bridge Township will use the $1.875,000 grant received from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 to advance the second phase of the Marina Park Master Plan. The design and construction will include 3 fields, a parking lot, and a stormwater management facilities. The baseball fields will contain fencing, digital scoreboards, dugouts, bleachers, and more. The engineering office has solicited a proposal for the preparation of the contract, plans and specification and cost estimates. Award of this professional engineering service was on tonight's consent agenda. Item number 5, and I just want to remind council, I think the question raised about the American Rescue Plan, so that everybody's council members and the public is aware, the ARP money is, we only have received 50% of the money. The majority of the money is now being used for the Marina Park Phase 2, and then the revenue shortfall, the balance was covered. There are restricted use for ARP funds, and some of these funds that we have applied are the funds that we can use, so I just want to clarify that. Item number 5, 2021 Annual Curb Replacement Program. Old Bridge Township contractor Line Check Construction will begin curb improvements on various roads within the town, beginning with the Tompkins Road during the week of October 25th, 2021. Please visit oldbridge.com/news for most up-to-date information. Item number 6, fourth quarter tax payment. The Township Division of Tax Collection will be open Monday through Friday between hours of 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. during the fourth quarter tax collection period. They will also be open between hours of 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. on Saturday, November 6th. The last day to pay tax without interest or penalty is November 10th. Payment received after this date will accrue interest back to the statutory due date of November 1st. For additional information, residents should contact the Division of Tax Collection at 732-721-5600, extension 2999. I just want to add to this that we have various ways that residents can pay their taxes online using credit card, online using ACH. They can sign up with the tax collection office for automatic withdrawals, or they can, there's a drop box in front of the municipal building, or they can obviously visit the Township Tax Office. Item number 7, property tax reimbursement senior fees forms. The deadline to file the 2020 PTR form with the state of New Jersey is November 1st, 2021. Application must be postmarked by the state. For additional information, residents should contact the state of New Jersey Division of Taxation at 1-800-882-6597 or Division of Tax Collection at extension 2999. Item number 8, before and after school care program. Happy to announce that currently we have 455 children enrolled for before and after school care program. We no longer have any students on wait lists. Also, all students are being cared by before and after school care program. We're still actively pursuing applicants for open positions such as paras, aides, and nurses. To apply, visit oldbridge.com and click on employment opportunities. If you have any questions, please reach out to the before and after school care department at extension 2395. Item number 9, Halloween Spectacular. This year's Halloween Spectacular will take place Saturday, October 30th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the municipal complex. There will be a DJ, hair ride, face painting, pumpkin picking, and much more for the entire family to enjoy. Item number 2, Old Beach Police new hire process. Every individual has taken the police department written entrance exam. Those who passes have been invited to participate in second physical agility phase, which will occur on Saturday, November 6, 2021. Item number 11, DEA Medicine Take Back. Old Beach Police took part in DEA Medicine Take Back on October 23rd. They collected 7 boxes of medication which were turned over to the DEA yesterday morning. Programs like this and the medicine drop box in the lobby help with the many issues such as accidental poisoning, overdose, and abuse. Pharmaceutical drugs can be just as dangerous as illegal drugs when taken without a prescription or doctor's supervision. Proper disposal of unused medication saves lives and helps protect the environment. DEA will be holding another event in 6 months. Council President, that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shaw. Does anyone on my right have any questions or comments for Mr. Shaw? Mr. Piscitelli.
Yes, thank you for your report, Mr. Shaw. On the property tax reimbursement senior freeze, can you explain that program just a little more detail?
I think I will invite Dawn to give you more detailed explanation as our tax collectors is fully versed with that program.
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
The property tax reimbursement program, or it's more well known as a senior freeze. However, it's not a freeze, it's a reimbursement program. It pretty much you establish a base year when you apply. So depending on how much your taxes go up each year, that's how much of a rebate you get back from the state, as long as the state still has the program and you meet certain qualifications. The qualifications are you have to be, we always say 67 the first year you apply. When you read the directions, you had to be 65 2 years ago. So for this year to apply, you would have had to be 65 as of December 31st, 2019. Living in New Jersey for 10 years, living in your home for 5, and then it's an annual income requirement. It goes up every year. This year, I believe it's around 92,000.
92?
$92,000, and that includes everything. Where if you're applying for the $250 senior deduction, you exclude Social Security or federal, state, local pension, that type of thing. This is total income it goes by. And if you're a first-time applicant, we do have the PTR 1 forms available in our office. But if you've been in the program before, the state sends you the form directly each year.
Great.
So the first year you might get a small rebate. Some people look at it and they're like, why am I doing this for $40? We have some people who have been in the program since the late 90s who get back a couple thousand.
That's nice.
So
Yeah, it's a good form online. The questionnaire is pretty easy, and it's easy for people to just answer those questions and know whether or not they qualify.
And if you're disabled, it's.
yeah, they're also disabled if you're, yes.
If you're,
And if anybody has any questions regarding the form, the tax office staff is very well versed in it. We do it all the time. So the form's a little intimidating. It's like a 20-page book. It's really only 3 pages you have to fill out. And I also know that Senator Sam Thompson's office helps out as far as the income portion, because we don't really fill that part.
One important factor is that really they're behind the state, so it's, I think, 2018 now.
Well, no, the PTR form, it's the 2020 form. The homestead rebate, I believe we just received the 2017
Yeah,
this year.
2017 was just received.
okay, great. Thank you so much, Tony.
No
Appreciate
problem.
it.
Yeah, it's good. Everyone should take advantage of this program and they qualify. Anyone else for a question or comment? No? Okay. Mr. Pesky, second by Dr. Greenberg.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg, aye.
Yes.
Mr. Merwin? Yes. Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohor?
Yes.
We have 9 ayes.
Okay, next to the public comment on the subject matter for our next meeting of 3 minutes. Is there anyone who wishes to come up and make a comment this evening? Come forward, please. Good evening.
So you just need to press the button and hold it a little bit. It'll turn green.
Eventually, there we go. My name is Lance Hilfman, and I thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of you. Just wanted to remind everybody with Halloween coming, and as a special education teacher, I just thought it would be important for me to remind the community that with Halloween coming up, that we have special needs students and special need adults coming by, and we should also make sure that we are understanding of them, of their needs, especially those who are nonverbal. The other things I wanted to say is I had the opportunity of going to the Scepter Festival, and having been there at the beginning, not as a member, but knowing of it as a member, knowing of it from the beginning of it, but not as a member, now I am a member, it's amazing. That and band parents this past weekend, it's just amazing how our community gets together. I wish all of our community would get together. Mrs. Hilfman was a music teacher in town for 40 years, so she was well represented when band parents began. And also mentioned that Compassionate Parents of Old Bridge, another great organization. So again, thank you for the opportunity to allow me to speak about those 3 great organizations.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good evening. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to come up and speak? Seeing no hands, then I will close the public portion, and now we will go to council comments.
Council President, if we can, if any council member has any kind of question, concern about what department heads, if we can address them now.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. Prior to council comments, does anyone have a question or a comment for any of the department heads?
Nope.
Mr. Pesky?
I would just like to thank all of the department heads in town, do a fantastic job. You know, I don't see Vina here, but really, it makes me proud to be an Old Bridge resident. You know, you guys do a great job. Anytime I call, you know, I get results right away. So you guys are great. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work.
Okay, anyone else have a comment or question? Mr. Newman?
To Mr. Lenning, did you take care of that hole today?
Yes, sir.
All right. I don't want to get no deeper. We'd have been losing some kids. Now, I have a question, and I don't know if I should have it now, in reference to the HR hiring.
I think if it's a just general question, we can answer, but if it's a specific, then I'll defer to the legal department and you may consult with them. Or with the
It's specific on our part, not anything to do with the hirees or anything. You know, first off, when did we become aware that there was going to be an opening in the HR department?
About a week and a half, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yes.
And where was it advertised?
It was, we advertised on our webpage, yeah.
Now, I didn't see it on there, but that don't matter. I don't look at it every day. But I know people that do look at it every day looking for jobs, and they didn't see it. So I surely would like the proof that that was posted on the website, when and how long. And why would we be in such a rush to hire an HR person? My understanding is when
you're asking me that question, how important the HR position is. First of all, HR manager.
How important is it?
Let me finish now. Let me finish now. Go ahead, scream.
Stop, gentlemen. Mr. Romani, let's not go.
Let's stop.
Off the rails.
Silly stuff. Less than a week and a half, we hired an HR director. In less than a week and a half.
We're fortunate.
We're fortunate. We got 70,000 residents. They didn't know about it. Are you kidding me? We're onto this. Don't play games with the mics. This is baloney. There's a week and a half.
Councilman, I do not play games.
Well, somebody playing games with it.
Idiot, I do not play games.
Somebody's playing games with your new system.
When you interview for your jobs, how long did it take? This is outrageous, Mr. Wainwright.
Now, let's get a little order here. He asked a question.
You're not upset that somebody was hired and what is with the PA?
I'm upset the way you're conducting yourself.
But the thing is this, don't accuse people of playing with anything. I take very definite offense to that. I think I run a meeting where I'm trying to be very fair to everyone. If there's a microphone issue, it's not on our
Well, listen, I don't know that. I'm sitting here. All I know is my mic's going in and out.
I'm telling you that your anger is, again, overwhelming.
And I don't care about my anger. Stop. You can go put another piece of paper out on my anger. Go ahead. Stop. I've got a very serious question. Why somebody with such a week and a half, somebody was hired, and only 2 people applied for the job?
Can you allow the gentleman to speak?
No, I got a very serious, no, I want, it's a multitude of, there it goes again. How about that?
Well,
how about that?
Mine is going to. Mine is going to. If you want to wireless one, then take a wireless.
Yours is working. That's mine.
Okay.
Now, a brand new system we got, huh?
You're saying that you're serious. Then let him talk about the seriousness of it.
Yes.
Let him answer. This anger is just not getting.
Yeah, you're right. There you go again. Go ahead with the anger. Go ahead. Go ahead, answer your question.
Okay, Mr. Shaw, are you finished? Do you have more information?
More questions?
I did. Our HR manager wrote is yours. You confirmed that it was advertised, and that's what I advise councilmen. The HR manager is critical position. Right now, we only have, there's 4 people in the HR department. We're filling up 1 position that is coming into the office in about 2 weeks, another week. Now, and we only have really one person processing. So yes, it is an extremely critical position, particularly in this environment of COVID and all the things that HR manager has to deal with it. We sought out as quickly as possible to fill the position, and we are fortunate that we have two candidates. In some cases, in some of our positions, we haven't got any candidates. I think right in the clerk's office, we've been trying to fill the positions and we haven't got any candidate. So that's why I said we are fortunate, we have candidates available with a good background, experience, knowledge, and so we're fortunate and we welcome her. And I'm pretty sure the organization is going to succeed just like everyone has. Again, Council President, from the council. Yes. One of the things my concern was, one of the most important things that HR conducts is payroll. Payroll cannot be interrupted. I'm sure everyone who works for the town would agree with that. It's one of the most important functions, and that was my concern, that we get somebody up there who's qualified to run the township payroll. So if that's a reason and excuse, I believe it's a very valid one to get someone upstairs before the next payroll is due. That's what I have to say.
Oh, come on. You can do better than that. This is a week and a half for this very important job, and only 2 people in a town that has 70,000 residents, and only 2 people applied. I think that's a problem. Either it wasn't advertised, it's stated that it was, and I would like the computer proof of that. So you can have the MIS people get that ready.
Councilman, I think, if you ask any question, we answer. But if you continue to insinuate, then we'll take an exception to this. Please do not insinuate that we do something. Yes, I'm telling you, we have positions open right now, advertised, and out of 70,000 people, we have not received an application.
Then there's a problem. What is the problem? Either we're not advertising.
You may have a crystal ball that I don't have.
Well, I don't know. Well, I know in the police department we used to have 300 applicants. This one we had 86.
That's correct. We're reporting what is going on.
So, so there's something wrong.
You are an expert. You tell me what is the problem.
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Then please don't but you rushed into this hiring in less than a week and a half. In less than a week and a half. All right? You rushed into this hiring.
There is no rushing into time. We took time, we interview personnel, and we hire. When there is position, we get fortunate, we will hire as soon as possible. We're not going to take a chance delaying hiring when a candidate is available, very good candidate is available. In this environment, where the labor shortage all over the country, every employment, every business is looking for people, we're not going to take a chance and not hire. So please do not insinuate something behind the scene.
I'm not insinuating.
You can certainly ask questions, and I answer the question.
And I think that the answer is obscene. I think you wait a week and a half, not even a week and a half. You got to figure you had time to advertise, allegedly a week and a half ago. And how much time did you give them? How much time did you give them to answer? And then you interview. How did all of that happen in a week and a half? How did all of that happen in a week and a half?
You're suggesting that we would not have time to interview when candidates are available? Are you serious?
I'm suggesting that you allege that you advertised. All right? Now, when you advertise, you usually give a closing date. So, if it was a week and a half ago you found out, how much time did you give the applicants to apply?
Applicants?
How much time did you give the applicants to apply on that?
It's not a relevant issue how much time you give. If we get the candidates in this environment, we'll hire them if we get a good candidate.
You say that you advertise.
You can keep asking, but I think
you say we advertise. How much time did you give the applicants to respond? That's a very valid, easy, simple question. How much time did you give them to respond? You didn't answer. How much time did you give the applicants to respond to the advertising?
Okay. Are we through with the
No, I'm not getting any answer there. It's a very valid question. How much time did you give the applicants to apply? Did you give them a week? Did you give them 2 days? Did you give them 10 days? How long did you give them?
Okay. Have we been looking researching?
For a week. From what date to what date? 14th to the 21st. And the 21st being what? You what?
Yeah, you're not projecting, so we want to get this answer.
We advertised for a week, and we set up interviews as applications of qualified applicants came in.
So the 21st ended. Yeah, done pretty quick. So the 21st was what, a Friday? Thursday? What was it, Thursday? Friday, and then we lost Saturday, Sunday, and then yesterday and today. That's all I got. I hope the residents of this town with $100,000 a year job, how much does she make? As the HR? How much was the job posted for?
Yeah, there was no number advertised, and we appointed Sherry with $82,000 salary, and then she will be getting, after 6 months successful, she will be 6 months of successful evaluation, she'll be getting $5,000 increase to $87,000.
Okay. I'm sure the residents of this town really like that you gave them a week to apply for an $87,000 a year job and never had the opportunity, really. I don't know anybody that knew about it. And there's people that look every day. Matter of fact, there's people in this building that applied the last time for Apple's job. I'm sure they would have liked to have a shot at it too. This wasn't rushed though.
Okay, do anyone else have a question from the department heads? Anyone have a question from the department heads? Mr. Costello from the department heads, okay.
Yes, so the township has about 400 and some odd employees, right?
That's correct. It's about 500. It's about 500 right now with part-timers, with all the back of the before and after school daycare program employees as well.
Okay.
And the numbers kind of fluctuate with whenever we hire seasonals, like for the hiring with the arenas employees, seasonal employees for arenas as well.
So approximately 500?
Yes.
Okay. So when you go through a process of interviewing and you find the right candidate, you really have to make a move quickly, isn't that right?
Definitely, and especially in this job market right now, if you talk to any employers or you go out there and talk to other people who are hiring, they are having a hard time finding qualified candidates. They're candidates, but they're not necessarily qualified for the position. And so when we, come across, people who have the qualifications, we have to try to jump on that right away. And especially for a position as important as the human resources. Human resources is not like it was back in the day when you just did paperwork and, set up people for their benefits. There's a whole lot of laws that we have to be aware of. There's a whole lot of EEOC guidelines. There's a whole lot of different things that we have to make sure that we are doing and that, we are in compliance with, or else we can get fined. There's many different things that can happen. So there's a whole complexity to what we handle in human resources. So it's really important that we fill this position as soon as possible and give me an opportunity to do some knowledge transition at the same time, because although someone might be very experienced, there's still certain ways and procedures that we have here that we definitely want to make sure that they're aware of coming on board. So human resources, it's not just, shuffling paper or filling out forms. We are in charge of very important day-to-day operations as well as long-term. There's the payroll that we need to make sure that people get paid. There's all the benefits, the leave of absences, the unemployment forms. There is, a multitude. There's employee policies and procedures. There's grievances that we deal with. There's employee disciplinary matters that we have to handle. There's union negotiations. There's all the support to the department heads for different needs that they may have as well, plus all the other hiring that we're doing on a daily basis. And right now, we were down to one staff member. It was basically just myself and two other staff members, and on top of that, handling all the COVID-related cases and tracing and quarantining people and making sure people get tested. So there's a whole lot that goes on in human resources that a lot of people are not aware of that we handle in that department with only 4 people. And we're down one person because the person is working on the payroll had left, so we were in transition. And we do have a township resident who we just hired, and she started training with me last night. She came in, after work and coming in tomorrow evening, and then she's starting full-time on Monday. And she's a township resident who did apply. She was qualified. We hired her because, like I said, it's a tough market out there. If you go all the stores, they all have hiring on their door. So we can't take the chance of waiting when we have a good candidate who comes along. And Sherry is more than qualified. She has many years of human resources and payroll experience. Most recently, she's been with the city of Orlando. Before that, she was right here working for the state with in the Superior Court in the Human Resources Department. She has a long list of over 20 years of human resources experience and payroll experience. So we had to jump on this opportunity to get her on board and do some knowledge transfer before my exodus.
So in order to explain how many employees we have offered jobs, took the job, and within a day has told us, they got better offer somewhere else and moved on.
Yeah, so the other thing that we're competing with the private sector as well. And we have the one position that we tried to hire another president before, and she twice, and we were coming on board, we were preparing everything, and then either one of them did a job, offered them more money to stay with them, and the other one found another job in private sector that was paying a lot more. So we're competing also with the private sector and the big dollars that they throw out there. So it's so we really had to take advantage of this opportunity right away.
Right, so you made my point exactly, that when you find somebody that's qualified, you gotta jump on it right away and make them an offer. Otherwise, you're gonna lose them to private sector or another.
And I can tell you, she canceled another job because the court, the Superior Court, wanted to hire her back. So, yeah, I didn't tell you that much, but yeah, they did, call her and wanted to get her back over there.
Right, so that makes my point as well. And we look around the room, when you look at all our department heads and looking at the employees that we have, the township employees are outstanding. Now, this administration has hired, in an excellent way, has hired good people, and, the result is we're saving a tremendous amount of money because the people that work here care. And they do a good job. And that's part of what the administration wants to do, is find people that really can do a good job and are qualified. So, I say, keep going. Good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Mr. Murphy, do you have a question for the department heads?
There's going to be a comment.
This is question time. Do you have a question?
What is Tony's question? No, you came up first about how you thanked everybody. That's what I was going to, that's a comment, it's my time to comment. Okay, what I wanted to say was, I've disagreed with everybody here, and what I'm thinking is one time, nobody's going to disagree with me. I look around here, and I'm not excluding my own party, I'm not excluding the mayor, I have gone after everybody. But for some reason, I've never gone after the assistant chief of police. But it started with the engineer before I even started working here. Now I get along good with her. Avril, I have a problem with. Now I get along good with her. The mayor, I had problems with. Amachu, I probably had the most problems with you. But right now, I couldn't do my job without you. And I have to echo Tony's comments, because every supervisor here has done a great job. And that's all I want to say, from Amacho all the way down through the rest of supervision. And, I apologize for jumping on everybody, so I'll jump on you later. But he's got a gun. I think that's why I keep away from him. But that's all I have to say. I just want to say, everybody just keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Mayor.
Yes.
This is not about the employee that was hired. This is all about the process. I think in a town of 70,000 people, an HR person, for all the reasons that Admiral enumerated, should have taken more than a week and a half. That's all.
Okay. Mrs. Walker? I just want to say, Sherry, welcome to Old Bridge. It's not usually, I'm sorry you had to endure this tonight.
You may want to call Superior Court back.
Please don't, Sherry. Yes. Please stay, you're going to get better. Welcome. Okay. Thank you for all the wisdom and through your background that you've given us. We really appreciate it. We will miss you. But Sherry, welcome again. Like Mrs. Walker said, thank you for being part of the Old Bridge team. Thank you. And so if no one has any more comments or questions for department heads, okay, then good evening, gentlemen and ladies. Have a nice night. Okay. Okay. You ready for council comment? Yes. Are you ready for council comment? Are you ready? Yeah. Okay. Council comments.
Ms. Brown, do you have any comments tonight? Mr. De Palma?
Yes, just a couple things. This morning when I was getting my kids ready for school, there was another accident. I know I've said this before, and I'll probably start saying this at every single council comment. Slow down. There is no reason to rush. The weather this morning was horrendous. Right, the crash was so loud that my daughters were in shock because it was so close to my house. It was on Amboy Road, right near Route 516. So please, just everybody, slow down. An extra 2 minutes is not going to make a difference. You know, your life is important, another person's life is important. God forbid that you take theirs or you take your own, right? There are people that love you, there are people that love them. Please slow down, right? We do not want to see more and more accidents in town because folks are rushing. That's all for that. The other thing is, good luck to Old Bridge High School football and homecoming this week. They're playing Sayreville on Friday night, so if folks are around and hopefully the weather cooperates with them, come down and support the Knights. And also, happy Halloween to all the kids out there, all the parents. Enjoy it. My oldest is 9. I probably only have a couple of years left with her, so enjoy the time with your kids. You know, go out, let them eat that extra candy. I hope my wife's not listening. But enjoy, everybody. Thank you.
Dr. Greenberg Bauer?
Yes. I feel compelled to speak about a few things tonight. As we know, it's election time, and I would say, if a candidate is going to lie or dispel misinformation during the campaign, if they're doing anything, I don't think the misinformation or the falsehoods are going to continue. I watch the candidates' statements, and I feel I am compelled to talk about this. It is outrageous and irresponsible for a candidate to make blatantly false and dangerous statements. The Democrat candidate who was running in Ward 3 said that the water in Ward 3 is contaminated. That is an outrageous statement to say. I am a commissioner, a very proud commissioner. I've been on MUA for over 7 years. And it is mind-boggling that a prior commissioner would make such a false statement. Mr. Desai was a commissioner. He should know better. He knows that water is tested regularly. He knows that those results aren't sent that are produced by an independent lab. And he knows those results are submitted to the NJDEP. Mr. Desai may have been on MUA, but he was clueless, and he was dangerous, and it is wrong to put fear. I've received a lot of phone calls about the water in Ward 3, and said, are we drinking contaminated water? That is outrageous to put fear into the residents when it's not true. But I will tell you what Mr. Desai did do while he was on MUA. Mr. Desai, along with the prior mayor, fleeced money from the MUA, over $8 million. Not only that, they made a deal to sell land, township land, to the MUA to plug a budget hole in the municipal budget. This was very reckless and irresponsible. And then I would also like to tell you that another thing that Mr. Desai did when he was on the MUA, Mr. Desai had his son get a job with the auditor of the MUA. Now, Mr. Desai was the treasurer, so you tell me, is that right to do? In fact, an ethics charge was presented to him. Although Mr. Desai also is a CPA, he's unfamiliar, obviously, with the municipal budget and taxes by the things that he said. And I would just say that Ward 3 has never been represented by a Republican representative. There's always been a Democrat. I think it is time that Ward 3 deserves a better representative, and at least someone who's not going to tell lies, put fear in people, and talk about the MUA, especially when he was a commissioner. It is outrageous. I can go on about other things, but I won't through time. That brings me to Mr. Merwin. Mr. Merwin's table, he talked about overdevelopment and apartments in town. Mr. Merwin is the only council member up here now who voted for apartments. He is the only one. The apartments that are built are a lot through a mandate through the state for COA. And I agree that I would rather see houses, but you can't tell a developer what to do with their land if they own the land and it is zoned for that. With that said, When we talked about Brunetti, as we know, these GDPs that are being done and the building that's going on now are going back 20 to 30 years ago, and they're getting built now. Anyone can take a ride and see what is being built on Route 9. If we continue to build houses like this, the infrastructure, fire, EMS, police is damaged. When he said he didn't want warehouses is light industry. Sayreville has them, East Brunswick has them. If you don't have them here, the traffic will go when they're built in Manalapan or Freehold or South. So we'll get the traffic, but no benefit from it. No taxes, and we'll get no job. They bring jobs to the town, and they're being built in a way that will preserve green space, open space. So I will tell you, I am a councilwoman who spearheaded to preserve over 200 acres. And I fought for the open space referendum. So when people out there are screaming you don't want overdevelopment, well, you voted down the open space referendum. So with the job from the town, the engineers, the planning boards, the administration, they've acquired open space through developers. That is what you do in negotiations. Finally, it brings me to the cancel, and I can go on. There's many things I could do, but I'm going to be brief and just touch this. So now, the number 4 ward council candidate on the Democrat side, Jill DeCaro, who's running, she's running, and her record is to raise taxes. She feels a flat tax isn't good. That's ridiculous. That means we've done our due diligence. You heard tonight from our auditor what we have done in spite of COVID and everything else. So our record is holding taxes down. The Board of Ed, which she's the president, has done nothing but raise taxes. In fact, even when schools being closed. And I would say this all happened through mismanagement. So the bottom line is we used to have over 10,000 students. We now have about 8,463. I'm not actually sure that number, but close to it. They did not adjust their budget, so poor management. They closed a blue ribbon school on a false narrative. They voted for a superintendent behind closed doors. They also, with their wisdom, on the night before school was supposed to open this year, Shiraz School could not open because, there was mold in it. You didn't know there was a mold the week before, but because of this township and the things that we've done, we got those students to come. They didn't have their first day, but they were here the next day, and everything worked out fine. We do a lot for the school, and we're always saying that we don't, and that is false. So I have to leave it with that really, when you say things, if you're not going to tell the truth, or if you don't know the facts beforehand, it is best not to say anything, because you could look up, these are the facts. So I would ask everyone to do their due diligence and please stop saying things and at least comport yourself in a professional manner. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Merwin.
Yes. That paid political announcement was by the chairperson of the Old Bridge Republican Party.
The proud chair of the Republican.
Whatever kind of chairperson you are, I just want to let the public know that you are the chairperson of the Old Bridge Republican Party who has failed to file any elect reports in this past election.
They have been so filed.
But they have. They're not even registered. Stop. Now, in response, I don't know what apartments I voted for or where I voted for them, but I'm sure she'll try to tell you that. All right. And I didn't vote against the warehouses. I said, be careful of the warehouses because they're going to bring traffic. All right. Unlike, the council that loves to pat themselves on the back who have voted for thousands of apartments. And they're going to tell you, I never voted for an apartment in my life. No, they voted for all the zoning changes for the apartments.
They're not.
So let's, here we go again. Hello. Hello, there we go. I don't know what the problem is. No, it's all right. You know, I'm concerned about the traffic from the warehouse. That's all. Truck traffic. And anybody who's out to Route 27 and Route 1 in Edison knows exactly what I'm talking about. And those that don't should take a ride out there someday. All right. As far as Mr. Desai, he's a big boy. He can handle himself. I don't know where he said that the water was contaminated. All right. But there is there is an advisory out with Middlesex Water, who Old Bridge Water does buy. All right. Now they may not get it from there. We don't know. But maybe he was responding to that. I don't have any idea. He's a big boy. But when it comes to the OBMUA and you want to talk about Mr. Desai, they used to have a double dipping pension system over there, a 401k, that was costing hundreds of thousands of dollars a year that certain employees were entitled to. He put an end to that, saving those hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, you know, he's a big boy. You know, it seemed like I said it was a paid political announcement by the chairperson of the Old Bridge Republican Party. So I don't know what apartments I voted for, but I believe we were supposed to have something on tonight about the zoning board, weren't we? And apartments? Weren't we supposed to sue the zoning board or something? What happened? What happened with that we had executive session on last week? Where is that? So he's
rude.
Mark.
Don't be rude to Mr. Shaw. That's not nice.
It was an executive session.
He doesn't have any, he will continue. Right. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Okay. So we're not going to go
Doesn't
through with
intimidate me.
that. Not going through with that? Okay.
We're not.
No, we are.
Are we?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
That was in a closed session, was it not? Thank you.
Oh, that shouldn't be a closed session.
We're
Got to take a vote on it.
We're going through with it. Yes.
Go through with it. Listen, my thing is here for Ward 1. Everybody in Ward 1 knows me. If you want me, you vote for me. If you don't, you don't. What are you going to do? Give me 7 days of my life back? You know, that's life. All right? I'm running against somebody that moved in the... Hello? 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 I'm running against somebody that moved into town 3.5 years ago. Doesn't even know one end of Ward 1 to the other. But that's okay. All right? He's learning it. He's out knocking on all them doors. You know, he spent a couple of $1,000 sending out a mailer, not telling you a damn thing about himself, only how great the Old Bridge Republican Party is. So he didn't have nothing on there what he's going to do or what he suggests, just that the typical 3 lies that they tell all the time. You know? The 15th safest town in America. They're not even the 15th safest town in Old Bridge, as per the New Jersey State Police Uniform Crime Reporting. All right? It was by an alarm company. That's the thing that they use to say they're the 15th safest. Listen, I think Old Bridge is a very safe town. But stop with the 15th safest in America, please. My goodness. Anybody that thinks we're not... Oh. Hello. Hello. Anybody that thinks we're not overdeveloped should just drive around it at rush hour. Make your own mind up. They didn't even start building all the apartments that are planned. They didn't even start building them yet. All right, so you make up your own mind. And as far as your taxes or your municipal taxes not going up, you look at last year's tax bill, you look at this year's tax bill. If it hasn't gone up, hey, lucky you. But believe me, you're in the minority. Whether it's $1 or $100 or $1,000, they went up. The rate stayed the same. That's all. You know, figures lie and liars figure. So, you know, I want to wish everybody a happy Halloween, but the most important thing I want to do is wish them a safe Halloween. Slow it down out there. The kids are going to be out there. It's a Sunday. You know they're all going to be out. So take your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy.
Yes, this thing about the contaminated water in Old Bridge at all is the first I've heard about it. And I take a bigger offense than Anita does. I've been with the MUA for a little over 50 years on one way or another. But other than that, there was no testing in the entire state when I started coming. They tested for bacteria, that was it. I was on a research committee, and I came up with a lot of ideas and talked the state into testing for so many things, it got out of hand. Old Bridge probably has one of the safest waters. Yes, we do get it from a surface water company, but we also retreat it to a point, and we mix it well and stuff. To say something like that is absurd. I mean, is the water tested better in India? I don't know. But that's all I have to say. I don't want to hear another thing that the water is not good anywhere, third ward, any ward, for 1 through 6. And if that really happened, that's a disgrace. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Piscitty? Mr. Rizzoli?
Yeah, just want to wish everybody a happy Halloween. Have a safe day. Enjoy trick-or-treating. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Walker?
Yes, I don't know if a lot of you know that we have a historical society right here in Old Bridge, and we meet once a month at the Thomas Warren Museum, and they have a little tiny museum with all artifacts and things from Old Bridge. It's very interesting. With the COVID, you have to call to see their hours. I know they used to be open on Fridays. It's located right across the high school on 516. But also one of our members, we were at a meeting this week, one of our members advised us, I didn't realize that it's going to be the 80th anniversary of Pearl Harbor coming up on December 7th. And I'd like to read you this little flyer that he wrote. Where were you when Pearl Harbor was attacked? This December 7th will mark the 80th anniversary of the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. As a volunteer member of the Madison-Old Bridge Township Historical Society, I would like to write a short narrative of people's recollections for future generations to read. Even if you were only a child at the time, you were affected in some way. Maybe you knitted socks for GIs, wrote letters in your classrooms, or took part in scrap metal drives. Perhaps you knew someone serving overseas or someone who worked in a defense plant. Whatever you did during those 5 years of war, I like to hear about it. If you're interested in participating, I'm going to give you the number of the museum. You could leave a message if nobody picks up. It's 732-566-2108. You can also email info@thomas-warren-museum.com. This is for maybe grandparents or whoever might want to give their story to recollect what they remember. We actually had some members that they were only like 5 or 6 years old and they had memories of it. Also, we're trying to post some flyers in our senior places around town, like such as Cheesequake Village and things, and we're trying to compile something for the museum. But also, I'd just like to remind everybody, please try to visit our museum. It's a really nice place. And I just want to comment that I was very upset by Mr. Merwin's anger tonight. I personally witnessed Mr. Merwin's anger, and this brought back horrible memories for me, watching him act like this. In 2009, he put his hands around my husband's neck and threatened to kill him. And tonight, it just brought back horrible memories for me, and I'm so sorry that people had to endure this.
Council President Zohar?
Yes, thank you. I think this election season always brings out the good and the bad in people in the sense of how they deal with their election and the whole process. And I think this evening we witnessed exactly what the good and the bad came of this tonight. I think Dr. Greenberg had a good point about telling things that are factual. I watched a taping of Mr. De Palma and his opponent, who spent a good portion of the time just attacking me. First of all, he distorted my voting record. I have since seen him, and I told him if he'd like to come here and he would like to debate me or, question me, that's fine. But I've always felt that if you're going to attack someone, then you should do it when they're in the room to be able to defend themselves. So that was very troubling to me. Although I'm not the Ward 2 council person anymore, that's something very, very important to me. And I really think when you're going to run for office, You should have your facts correct. And you should make sure that when you're going out there and talking about people, that you think twice before you distort their voting record. So that being said, this season seems to be really out of bounds for that, and I'm really very, very shocked by that behavior. As far as apartments, I believe, Mr. Merwin, there was Vision Streams. I believe you were part of that approval. We could go on, but again, once again, we did not vote for apartments. So, no, we did not. But at the end of the day, this is very troubling as well. Tonight, we had a new person join the team, and I really think that in itself was very difficult for this person. And I sincerely hope that you are, understanding that it is this time of election and people do get a little out of control. So. Also, I did go to the band competitions were there this weekend. The mayor attended. And again, it's near and dear to my heart. My daughter was a drum major for our band. And those are the kind of things that we want to talk about up here, not contentious and not anger. Things that are positive for the whole community. So everyone have a happy, did it to me too, equal opportunity. So everyone have a very nice holiday. Happy Halloween to everyone. Yeah, we're going to go into closed session, correct?
We need a motion to enter closed session.
Motion to go into a second.
Did you make the motion?
Recess into executive session for purpose of discussing collective bargaining.
You're not on.
For purpose of discussing collective bargaining agreement.
Okay. So do I have a motion for executive?
Nita made the motion, I second.
Okay, Dr. Greenberg Bell, I motion, Mr. Paschetti second, and now we'll ask the public. We will be back though, correct?
Coming back.
We're coming back? Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg Belli? Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Oh, Mr. Paschetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohor?
Yes.
You have 9 ayes. Mic's on now, test.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone back to the council meeting, October 26, 2021. We're back in session, and I need a resolution, correct? Take a vote.
Motion to reconvene.
Who's here?
Move it. Second.
Moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mrs. Walker.
Ms. Brown is absent. Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin? Yes. Mr. Murphy? Yes. Mr. Paschetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohor?
Yes. Okay.
To reconvene, yeah.
Yep. Now we're to reconvene, and now, Mr.
Yeah, Madam
Zelli?
President, before the council is there's discussion in executive session regarding a memorandum of agreement by and between the Township of Old Bridge and Superior Officer Association, PBA Local 127A Sergeants, Lieutenants. So the request is to approve the memorandum of agreement by and between these two parties, which will serve as a successor collective bargaining agreement for the term January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2024. While you'll take a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding at the next council meeting, I'll just have a resolution, assuming, depending on the vote is, memorializing the vote on the agreement. So the motion would be to approve
Second.
the agreement.
Okay, so it's moved by Mr. Murphy?
No, me.
No. Okay, Mr. Rizzoli. Boy, I'm tired. Okay, and second by Mr. De Palma.
Ms. Brown is absent. Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Yes. Mr. Paschetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohor?
Yes.
We have 8 ayes.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, council. Appreciate your support, and I want to thank Avril for her support to me during this negotiation.
Okay, thank you, Avril, as well. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Merwin made the motion.
Second.
Second,
Council
Mr.
President, one second. You know, at the time we started negotiation, it was a little chippy, but I do want to thank the members of the committee. Jim Ford is one of them. Rich Tulco, Ron, and also Kurt Pines. The four were with me. I mean, I think we spent considerable amount of time communicating, and I thought that they were very professional. They were responsive and understood the township position, and I want to thank them for their professionalism that they demonstrated.
Well, thank you, Mr. Shaw, and thank you, gentlemen. So we have the motion on the floor to adjourn.
Second.
Yeah.
Second by Ms. Walker. Ms. Brown is absent. Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg Belli? Mr. Merwin?